Remember that way back when, where it all began. In today's 20 years of democracy slot, we focus on an exceptionally influential and successful first ever Tshivenda soapie, Muvhango. Since its inception 17 years ago, Muvhango has grown from a mere 13-part series to holding the enviable, I should say, spot of South Africa's second leading soapie. We are now joined by the actors Sindi, Dlathu and Temba, as well as the man behind it all who started Muvhango, creator, executive producer, Duma Ndlovu. A very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning. You saw how it all began way back when. Goodness me, all those years ago. Tell us how it all came up.
Well, when I came back from exile, I found out in South Africa we don't have a soapie or a television drama that lets us look at ourselves as black people, that reflects us, who we are, what our aspirations are. Most of the dramas that were playing out then were kind of on a different level, and some of them were imitating Americans. We needed a drama, in my view, that spoke in an African language. Not necessarily in terms of the African language, but in terms of the aesthetics that said to us, we are black, we're proud, we're African.
But you often get Tshivenda or Tsonga sidelined somewhat for the Nguni languages, isiZulu, and perhaps some of the other languages, Setswana, Sesotho. Those are the dominant ones that we've seen. What made you think
Which
Tshivenda?
was part of the drive, because ICASA, which was called IBA then, was decrying the fact that we don't have the marginalized language on television. So in my view, Tshivenda, which was the smallest language, which faced extinction in the next 100 years or so, was a brilliant platform. But also, when you go into their culture is quite attractive, colorful, and they are a group that is largely different from all the other South African groups. So I thought that television-wise, we can have that shock element and the magic realism and just go into the culture, into the thing, and blow it up. And I guess we were right, because the excitement kind of said, yes, we're right.
Indeed. And I can tell you, one actress who is almost synonymous with Muvhango is Sindi, who plays Tandaza.
She was there from day one.
She was there from day one. From day one. You've grown, you've evolved, not only your character, but also as a person and an actress in the soapie. Tell us about the journey.
Wow. It has been exciting. I should say I'm thrilled, and I'm very proud to be part of Muvhango, you know, from day one. I mean, when the show started, we didn't know what the show was how the show was going to be received, you know. But the excitement on set, the excitement of the actors, you know, the excitement of doing something that has never been done before, you know, it has been an exciting journey, I must say.
And I think it educated South Africans like myself, who knew very little about vendor culture. We all called it Muvhango as opposed to Muvhango, you know, because of the spelling. So something small like that, but it opens you up to a world you've never seen.
Most of us had never, you know, heard the language before, I must say. But, you know, we can now, most of us on the show can, you know, speak a little bit of Tshivenda, and people on the streets would stop you and speak Tshivenda to you, and I'm like, okay, I can hear a little bit.
Because Tanda does not, because she doesn't speak Tshivenda. No,
she does on the show.
She does on the show,
yeah.
But you have to practice and go through that quite a lot.
Obviously.
But you've brought in different elements. We see Brian is now also in the mix. They're bringing a bit of swag into this from his background of music. You know, you brought new elements. It's becoming very current. It stays with the times. Tell us about your involvement.
You know what? It's very interesting, because I think Bob Duma would actually elaborate on that a little bit more, because me and Bob Duma go way back, you know, since the Lion King times and all of that. And he approached me, I think, in 2009 when I came back from overseas, and he said, look, we have a perfect role for you, you know. And by then I was coming back as a musician, and I wanted to venture into that a lot more. And he said, no, man, this is going to be great. I think he tells the story all the time. But I wasn't ready then. But coming back now, working with him again, the experience has been absolutely amazing. And working with professional actors like Sindi, it's exciting. It's a journey for me, because I've acted outside of the country, but coming back at home and having to speak Sesotho or having to act in our home language, it's exciting, it's beautiful.
And challenging as well, I'd imagine.
Challenging,
Hey, what can I say? Slang there. You can't say not a me, not a saying. But it is a balancing act that we're facing, isn't it, Baba? Because in South Africa, as with many African countries, our culture somewhat is eroding at times because you have this balance of trying to maintain tradition, but also evolve with the times and be modern. And I think that's the story also behind Muvhago. They have the tradition, you have the chief, you have his wives, and they strike a good balance of keeping the tradition, but also staying current.
But you see, when we came in as this cultural show. So once we got the older people to watch us, our challenge was now to try to attract the younger people. And of course, we thought that let's start with the pretty women first, and we got that. And once we got that out of the way, I think our female viewers were complaining that Muvhango has got these beautiful women. Where are the men? And that's part
of the eye candy for the ladies.
The eye candy for the ladies. And as Brian says, you know, Brian had worked on West End, in one of the highest platforms on theatre. And when he left Lion King, and because I work with Lion King, I'm the casting director, I knew that. So I said, guys, there's eye candy coming to South Africa. Because we were, again, in order to sell culture to young people, you've got to be sexy. So we had to go that route just to look beautiful. And today, when we are stopped in the streets and people tell us that Muvhango looks beautiful, we've got beautiful men, we've got beautiful women, we've got beautiful pictures, but also just the stories are fantastic and funny. We feel that we are achieving something. So we've made African culture sexy.
Indeed. No, you have sexied it up. And talking about sexy, Sindi, do you ever get tired of being Tandaza on the streets? I'm sure lots of people don't even know that your name was Sindi, but...
No, I don't think I'd ever get tired of playing this character. She is such a role model to a whole lot of people. I mean, she's the CEO of a multi-billion rand company, but she's still... Everything she does with good intention. And she still respects culture, she still respects her family, you know, so she is I think a woman that we all should aspire.
She's forever having bad luck with love. Not too stressed. But
she must
just be strong. But yeah, I suppose it is a challenge for women at that level as well to just, you know, have a solid relationship, I suppose. So it's a good impression. Will you be drawn on perhaps what we can expect from your character in time to come?
You know what? I think Run Tumeng in the past was a bit of a pushover, I think. And this time I think we see him kind of take charge of his family, of his life as a whole, and take control of his... I think the character becomes stronger, bolder, you know, a typical South African men, you know, in the modern society.
Duma Ndlovu, 15 years of Muvhango. What does the next 15 years, or do the next 15 years have in store?
Well, since it's been 17.
17?
Yes,
so I'm 2 years shy. It's been that long?
Yeah, it has been that long.
Yeah.
I think with the support of the broadcaster, we're going to see Muvhango then take more center stage in the South African television fraternity. I have been complaining that we need more African stories on television. So for me, particularly these past 2 weeks, we've seen some amazing love from across the country. The ad that we're running Monday to Friday has been bowling people over. Our opening sequence, people are saying that, wow, where have you guys been all this time? So for me, it is saying to young filmmakers, here's a model of making African films, because our young filmmakers are inspired by Americans, by British, and now even by Nigerians. So we're saying to South Africans, here's a South African story, the way it is made, the way it is crafted, and the stories for you to model whatever it is that you do. So the next 15 years or 17 years for me, we need to see more productions like this, not only to compete with Muvhango, but also to say to Muvhango, your time is up. New African stories being told in the new African way. It's kind of hard to do Muvhango because you've got to balance. You've got to make sure that you please the older folks. But look, we've done our time. So it's time for young people to come and speak in that African voice. That's what I had wanted, to create a voice for young people to express themselves in. And now that I think they have this platform that looks like them, I think our job is done. I think younger people need to come in now.
You've set a very high standard. I think the benchmark is very high. I love that ad as well of the singing and the ladies and everybody everybody pushing everybody. I just love it. I think it's fantastic, very creative. My technical director's whispering in my ear because you have such a huge following here on Morning Live, I must tell you. So he wants to know whether or not you're going to go back to location. It's very studio-based at the moment. Are you ever going to be going back to location at some stage?
I hope the executives at the SABC are listening. Yesterday we had a meeting with the top echelons, and they have given us permission to go into location. These two guys, I'm letting in the story now. These two guys do get married, and we go to location to shoot their wedding.
So you do go to location for that.
Go back
Exciting times. Yeah. Congratulations. 17 years of Muvhango, and many things coming from there. We're expecting greatness as well from this particular soapie. So let's leave it there for now. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a huge pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you very much.